population base. As an educator, I take exception to a couple of things, and it hasn't been pointed out, and I just like to take this opportunity to do so. In the grade 1, when we're teaching genitalia, the part that I read, I said, an educator would write this? How would a classroom teacher teach the specific parts of genitalia? What teaching aids will be necessary? Are you going to be using anatomical models, as we find in doctors' offices? Are you going to bring in mannequin models? Well, the natural way, of course, would be, think of grade 1 students when they learn the body parts. This is the ear, this is the eye, this is the hair. You point right to it.
Just to let you know, you have 15 seconds to go because we're timing you. And just to let the audience know, the more you clap, the more you take away from his. So could we please hold all the applause afterwards? We just want to make certain, because of the time frame, we understand.
Well, I'll give an extra minute after the.
Well, we'll give you 45 minutes, seconds, 45 seconds to wrap up. Thank you.
In math, in grade 1, and so on, what we're looking to do is always, we need to have manipulatives. We need to have concrete things because kids are still in a pre-operational sort of a stage, as Piaget. So Piaget, highly esteemed, I think, would still be the person that educators would point to as the father, the most influential person. He would roll in his grave and say, how are we going to teach that? The most natural way for us to teach genitalia would be for parents to do it when they're having bath. When I had bath with my two grown my sons when they were young, that's the time to point out that that's the penis. And the reason why this doesn't have hair, like daddy has hair, is because wait, when you're older, you're going to have hair in there. And this is the most natural way of teaching genitalia. Not in the classroom setting. Teachers are not in a position to do it and do it well. So finally, at grade 8, when you have
You're 45 seconds. You're now at 55 seconds. I'm serious. Please, let's hold the time because we've got a lot of speakers and we want to be fair to all speakers. So 5 seconds to last wrap up, please.
The criminal code can charge a parent if a child under 10 years old stays at home alone, and it can be up to 2 years. Manitoba's New Brunswick does not allow kids 12 years and under to stay alone. Canadian Red Cross, the Children's Aid Society, 12 years old, minimum age for someone to be a babysitter. To be able to drive, 16. To be able to vote, 18. To be able to buy tobacco, 19. To be able to drink alcohol and buy alcohol, 19. But somehow in grade 8, before the kid was even 14, we say you can devise your own sexual activity plan and stick to it. I think that's premature. It's not reasonable. Thank you.
From now, and we'll give them 5 minutes. We're going to give you a ding at that 1 minute warning, okay? Mathia Coronel is our next speaker.
Hello, my name is Mathia Coronel. Hello, my name is Mathia Coronel, and I too am a mother of 3 children. I have a 10-year-old daughter, a 6-year-old daughter, and a 3-year-old son. I firmly believe that as parents, we should be the first educators, and I certainly do educate my children on sexuality, but based on our family values, which is a critical part that needs to be addressed. The values of individual families, certainly a teacher in a classroom wouldn't know or wouldn't be sensitive to, and this is something that the current curriculum ignores. I want to just express, historically sex education in schools was focused on the way the human body changes and how the body matures, and the science of conception. I'd like to note that this current version of the sex ed curriculum actually removes any reference to fetal development, and that should certainly be a concern to us because the preborn children are children just the same, and we need to, if we're going to teach our children about sexuality, let's just even share with them that out of the acts of sexuality you can conceive a human being, and that's a whole other issue that has moral and values that need to be considered as well. Today's approach, as was expressed by the first speaker, is comprehensive sex education. That is what it's called. And what comprehensive sex education is, it's a rights-based approach that seeks to equip young people with the knowledge, skills, attitudes, and values that they need in order to determine and enjoy their sexuality physically and emotionally, individually, and in relationships. So again, a cause of concern for me as a parent because should my child be learning on how to enjoy their sexuality when really our children need to be learning how to enjoy their childhood and spending less time on media and more time using their mind in creative ways, through play. Where did this curriculum this comprehensive sex education come from? It actually comes from the United Nations, from a few organizations, the World Health Organization, Planned Parenthood, who is heavily promoting the sexualization of children, CCAN, which is the Sex Information and Education Council of Canada, and CCUS, which is the American version of it. And just as a side note, CCUS was actually founded by none other than Hugh Hefner of Playboy. And so according to UNESCO, comprehensive sex education, the rationale is to enable young people to exercise their sexual and reproductive rights. Their sexual and reproductive rights. Again, my children, we raise them to respect. We respect one another, and even as an individual, I certainly, my husband and I, believe that every human being has a right to be respected in the decisions that they make. That also includes the lifestyle that they wish to live, and in terms of their sexual lifestyle. But us too, we deserve to be respected. But with regards to reproductive rights and exercising their sexuality, does my 10-year-old need to know about that or learn about that? And who should be guiding that discussion? Should it not be me, her mother, the one who carried her and is raising her according to our family values? In terms of the comprehensive sex ed, going through the grades, grade 1, the doctor referenced it already, the labeling of genitalia. I think it's important that our children know the basics, that my son would know that his PP is actually called a penis, and my daughter would know that her, thingy is actually called a vagina. But I don't think it's necessary for my children to know at an early age about their testicles or spermicide, or about their clitoris, or worse, their vulva, which is what this curriculum suggests. About gender fluidity, that is not a proven fact that gender is fluid. That is a notion. Can and will conflict with many family values, which should be respected. And really, my biggest concern is how will these sensitive topics be handled in a way that is consistent with the beliefs, values, and cultures of each family in this diverse and beautiful nation of Canada. Education also withholds a lot of critical information, such as the increase of teenage pregnancies. In our own New Brunswick, when they introduced comprehensive sex ed, teenage pregnancy introduced in 2004, between 2006 and 2011, teenage pregnancies went up 40%. So did sexually transmitted diseases such as gonorrhea and chlamydia. So where we're saying we want to give the children the information to help them make informed decisions, we're not telling them the full story, because the truth is that they begin to engage in these sexual activities or continue to, HIV, AIDS, chlamydia, gonorrhea, syphilis, all of these diseases are they're at a high risk of obtaining.
Thank you. The next speaker is Christina Liu from the Parents Alliance of Ontario.
Very unfortunate. Today I have a piece of paper. I would like to show each and every parent here, and I would say my appreciation to our York Region Parents Alliance parents, because our government refused to do a public consultation, and our parents, after 9 to 5 work, and they go on the street, door-to-door knocking and asking for the data. Which parents are against it? How many parents are supporting it? I'm just going to read this data to you. We did by postal code. Thanks for our high technicians, and they developed the program to analyze postal code by postal code. And according to the result, all numbers of houses we investigated was 390 households. And number of households who said no is 235. And number of people who said no is 369. And number of people who said yes is only 25. Our parents went door to door to ask parents, are you in support of this new sex education curriculum? Yes. And our government talked about many about myths and facts. Today, I will talk about the myth and fact from the parents. When we said no, they accusing us, saying that we're saying no to the sex education itself. No, we're not saying no to the sex education. Actually, we're saying yes to sex education. But what kind of sex education? Not the irresponsible one. The following information are not addressed in this. 1, health benefit of long-term committed relationship. 2, the high health risks associated with the anal intercourse. The negative physical and psychological impact of teen sex, and the severe consequences of HIV. The second one, this curriculum is to protect our children or to endanger them. The myth, Mathia already covered some of it, but I'm going to go with some other information that is not covered. There are many numbers I would like to quote here. Unfortunately, I have a time limit. I will just quote some. Alberta has also had this comprehensive sex education in place. Their STI rates are way above the national average, and a sharp rise of the sexual assault cases have been reported after the introduction. And in the United States, 37 states has the mandatory sex education. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention in the United States reported in their 2013 report, every 1 in 4 teens are STI infected. New Jersey ranked 5th among 46 states with long-term name-based reporting in the rate of HIV infection among adults. And their comprehensive sex education introduction was in 1980. And Professor of Education and History of University of New York stated, we do not have strong evidence that it's constantly reduced teen pregnancy and STI rate. The myth is sex knowledge or the value. The myth is we need to arm our kids with the information so they don't go online, they don't go for further research, they don't search for porns. The fact is we need to arm our kids with value so that they don't go online. Adults with sufficient sexual knowledge still go online to search for porn. For example, Benjamin Neville. Urgent need to teach our next generation to know right from wrong. Teaching young children information that they cannot comprehend will only stir more curiosity for them to go online and real life for further exploitation. We also furnish them with terminology for more efficient search. And myth. We want to teach value because we are conservative radicals. The fact is, teaching value will assist our children to establish a sexual relationship that is as risk-free as possible. Central Disease Control states abstinence and sexual intercourse with one mutually faithful and infected partner are the only totally effective prevention strategies. Why? In our curriculum, only teaches abstinence, not the other one.
Thank you, Christina.